Hey anatomists, here is a quick video on the skull, just some features that we can see on the anterior view. We're going to start with the frontal bone. This region is that frontal bone here, and in that central region there's this little soft spot there that's kind of like in between your eyebrows. That is known as the glabella. We're going to go over where our eyebrows are and then where our orbit is. And notice that there's this little foramen here, or this hole. Foramen again means hole. That is the supraorbital foramen. And if we have a supra, that means that we're going to have an infra. And the infraorbital foramen is just below that, or inferior to the orbit. The infraorbital foramen is going to be on the maxilla, and the maxilla is this bone right here. The way that I like to think of it is the maxilla has a mustache. Max has a mustache. That is the maxilla bone. With the maxilla bone, we have the alveolar border or process. Excuse me, alveolar. Forgot to emphasize that L. The alveolar border or process, and that is also going to be on the lower jaw, the alveolar border or process, and that's just basically the cavities of which the holes of which the teeth go into. So it's that border right there. This I mentioned was the maxilla bone. This is the mandible. The mandible. So the mandible is that lower jaw. It is also known as the mental region, especially right here. And since this is the mental region, we're going to have this foramen lateral to that mental region, and that is going to be the mental foramen. Mental foramen. So a quick recap of those foramens that we just saw. We have the frontal bone, and lateral to the glabella is going to be these little foramens above the optic, and that is going to be the supraorbital foramen, the infraorbital foramen of the maxilla, and then on the mandible we have the mental foramen, and both on the maxilla and the mandible we have the alveolar border or process.